Hey guys, John here. Today we're in Sytrus, and to kick off this sound design week, there's a couple of things I wanted to share with you to get a little bit more out of Sytrus and to get it to sound a little bit better. So normally we would always go to a default preset, something kind of like this, just a blank slate, which is fine. But sometimes it's nice to go to this default subtractive preset because we already have our first operator, which is a saw wave, routed to the first filter, then to the output. And if we take a look at this filter and see what's going on, we have a volume envelope already dialed in for us, except there's no release, and we're going to get to that a little bit later. But then we have the cutoff envelope as well already set up for us, and it's kind of nice because if we play some notes here, we already have that type of cutoff modulation that we would generally, for most of our patches, already do. So this is going to save us a lot of time. And then we can always increase the envelope amount, drop the cutoff even more. Something kind of like that. So that's just really a kind of quality of life thing to make things a little bit easier. If we go back to this default preset, this is something I kind of wanted to show you. So I've always heard that Sytrus can sound a little bit thin or something like that. And I think a lot of that has to do with the unison here. So if we have kind of just a regular sound like this, let's open up our cutoff here. We have a regular saw wave, and then if we go to maybe a couple orders of unison, like 4, it can kind of sound like that. And if we even go to the first operator, drop this down 1 octave by changing it from 2 to 1. It sounds okay, but for some reason it just doesn't have that oomph to it, right? So generally, I don't even rely on this pitch tuning right here, or the unison pitch tuning right here, or the phase. So I bring these two down. So we just pretty much get a very loud song wave. There are unison voices here, but it's nice to do something like this inside the oscillator itself. So if we go to the first operator here, what's kind of nice to do is if we go to the phase, right? And this is going to work once we get the second operator in here. But let's go to the phase, and then let's go to the random right over here. So let's bring this kind of up substantially here, and maybe bring this down over here. So we're already starting to get a little bit of a difference here. And if we go to the phase also for the unison and bring this up as well, something kind of like this, actually delete this node here and then bring this kind of down, something like that. So we have the first operator here. Now let's bring in the second one over here. And what we can do is we can copy this oscillator setting and bring the second one over here, something like, where is paste? There we go. And then let's bring this one down 1 octave here by dividing it to 0.5 and bringing that into the mix as well. Now we can do some of the similar things here. We go to phase, we go to the random here, and let's change this also a little bit as well. Same with the unison phase. And delete this point as well. And for now, we can always disable this volume envelope here just for now. So already off the bat, we kind of have something a little bit thicker here. And then we can also go into the operators themselves again. And then for the unison, we can affect the pitch a little bit differently, kind of like how we would do over here in the main tab, but we're kind of doing this per oscillator. And here you kind of want to take off the magnet because it can be a little bit much at first. So just that tiny little move right there. So if we restore that here, turn on our magnet, put it back to the center. And then we can go to the next operator and maybe do the opposite direction. Instead of bring it up, let's bring this down just slightly. So already doing kind of a couple things like this are really going to enhance the sound of Sytrus because you always kind of want to change the phase on every single note that you press, and when 2 operators or oscillators are going out of phase every so often, it really builds up that nice kind of unpredictability, the analog kind of vibe to it. So this is just 2 operators here with a little bit of unison and some of this editing that we did here. No effects or any filtering going on here. So now that we have this set up here, we can always go to the first filter and kind of dial in something as well. So let's turn this volume envelope back on here. Maybe turn on our tempo. And then check out our cut. Turn that on tempo as well. And then from here, we can really kind of decide which different filters that we want to go through. Maybe a 12, 24. And one that's actually kind of nice is the Mango Low Pass. If you want something kind of nasty for that right there. And then we can always go to the Lime. Maybe some wave shaping. And then we could even enable a quick ARP or something like that. So say go downwards, a range of 2. And already right there, we kind of have something almost 303-ish like. But in that case, it might be something nice to change this into a square for the operator that is down 1 octave. And maybe do some EQ as well to that as well here. So let's change this into peaking here and maybe go to like 150, 160, wherever that mud is. Like that stuff. And then from here, we haven't even gotten into effects yet, so we can even go to the effects panel, turn this up a little bit, and this is something that I use quite often. So if you're not aware of this, you should be. In this little drop-down menu here, there's some really actually nice presets. So for the chorus, we can go to stereoized. And then for our reverb, we can go here to reverb and then maybe get like small studio or something like that. And then we haven't even touched delays yet, so just doing a couple of these simple things can really bring out a patch to, or bring the patch to life. So yeah, very cool thing to check out if you want to make Sytrus sound a little bit cooler. So hopefully you learned something, and we will see you in the next video.